Get my slides queued up. All right, well, let me introduce myself then really quickly. My name is Christina Krost. I'm the program officer for local programs, and I'm sitting in Mattoon, Illinois right now. Lindy Wheatley is also with me today. She's our grants and operations manager, and she's going to wave real quick for the camera. There we go. So if you ever have questions about things related to grants, or anything related to the Nature-Based Climate Action Program, you would contact one of us, Lindy or myself. And our emails are super easy, first name @lumpkinfoundation.org. Our executive director, Bruce Karmazin, is not on the call today, and Monique Schlickman, our senior program officer in Chicago, I don't believe is on the call either, but you would contact them if you had questions about other things. So let's go ahead and get started with what we're going to talk about today. So today we're focusing on the Nature-Based Climate Action Program, which the LOI is opening very soon. Oops, here comes some people to the room. There we go. I'll mention that, we've blocked out an hour for this call. It's not going to take an hour. It will likely take about half of that. Whatever questions you might have, we'll ask at the very end. And then if you have any specific questions, I'll hang on the Zoom line here and you can ask them specifically, or you can email me as you think of them. But we'll go over what the mission and vision of the foundation is, the overview of the Nature-Based Climate Action Program, some details of what a good proposal might look like, the kinds of funding that we give here, because we do things maybe a little differently than some others, and what that process looks like. And then again, we'll do questions at the very end. So if you can make sure you're muted, and you can come off of mute as you have questions. Again, there'll be a time at the very end for them, or you could pop them in the chat. I'll try to keep an eye on them as we go. Okay, looks like everybody is here from the waiting room, so I'm going to go to the next slide. So the mission of the Lumpkin Family Foundation is to, support people to build healthy, sustainable communities. We focus our efforts in East Central Illinois, though we do have programs in Chicago, and we do have a national food policy program as well. But again, we really focus our efforts on East Central Illinois, which we define as, let me go back to that slide in a second, as this particular map, which you can find on our website. If you go to the Our Work tab up at the top and find our programs, you'll be able to find this map. But let me go backwards one real quick. I jumped ahead. The values of our foundation are really important to us, and it makes us kind of who we are and the presence that we have here in East Central Illinois and why that's important to us. And so these are kind of the values which more than ever are really important to us as we watch, some of the work that we do and the work that you do be maybe under attack. So these are our values. We're holding dear to them, and we know that you are too, and we hope that we can work together to do that together. So again, this is where we do our work. So East Central Illinois, kind of within, like if you look inside the outside boundaries of 150 to the east, 74 and 72 to the north, 55 to the west, and kind of like 185 and 70 to the south. We kind of tend to stay inside of that kind of, it's not a circle. I don't know what shape you would call that. Although we have given outside of those territories, slightly here and there over the years. So if you're doing work within that geographical area, we would love to talk to you about this program. Let's keep going. So again, specific to the Nature-Based Climate Action Program, we're looking for proposals that do a few key things. This is different from our Land Health Community Program. It's different from some of the Chicago programming we do. It's different from the National Food Policy programming we do. We're really super focused in this program on drawing down carbon and habitat restoration. Again, trying to take action on climate change using nature-based actions. So we are also interested in proposals that might contribute to climate science or promote policy change through the research that you do. We're looking for projects that activate the communities and help them to understand better what is climate change, how is it affecting their community, and what they can actually do about that, and what they can actually do to change it, to work on policy, to work on different proposals in their own communities to draw down carbon. We're looking at ways that we can activate our communities to care about this. We like to plant trees. Planting trees is great. It's probably the simplest thing that we can do. And we do a lot of tree planting in East Central Illinois. We know that that is also an equity issue in a time of extreme heat as we're experiencing right now. You all know this better than I do, but this, extreme heat being the biggest killer during climate catastrophes like this, planting more trees can provide more shade in areas that have been historically left behind. So planting trees is really important to us from a health standpoint, but also an equity standpoint. We also are interested in a demonstration of large-scale carbon farming methods that integrate trees and prairie or wetland to help advance the policies and the understanding of these methods, but also to help prove that there is a market to do this and that it is financially feasible for people to do this. Okay, so that is what we're looking for. If your proposal hits any one of these areas, that's great. If it hits more than one area, that's even stronger. And if it does that between that map that we showed you, then you're a really good candidate for a nature-based climate action application. Let me go to the next slide. Now, if you have questions about, well, what makes up a good proposal, or who has gotten funding through this program before, or how much funding am I looking for, or should I be asking for, you can find a lot of that information on our grantee database. So if you go to the Lumpkin Family Foundation website and you go to the Our Work tab, it's underneath that tab at the top. And you can search by grant program. This is just a screenshot, but you can scroll down here and take it to nature-based climate action and sort that way. And it will show you the different organizations we've given to, how much they've received, when they received it, and what area they're working in. For nature-based climate action, it'll all be in East Central Illinois. So if you have questions about, again, some of the partnerships we have, some of the relationships we have, how much funding we've given different projects over time, that would be a great place to find some of that information first. If you still have questions, I'm happy to answer them by email, one-on-one a little bit later. Let's go to the next slide. So we do our funding maybe a little bit differently than other organizations, but I just wanted to flag that we kind of have two different ways that we give out our funding to our partners. So we have core grantees, and then we have program or project grantees. Our core grantees are kind of a handful of organizations that are really pillars in the sector and doing the work across the region, and we've built relationships with over the last 70 plus years that we've been in existence as a foundation, or specifically the last 20 or so. And so those core grantees receive general operating funds over a multi-year program. And they, submit a yearly post-grant report to us to update us on the work that they're doing. So if you've received programmatic funding from us for 3 years in a row, we might have a conversation with you about core grantee funding, going forward. If you don't have a relationship with us yet, you're applying for and will be looking at more program or project-based funding. That's, again, a year-to-year kind of situation. It's program or project-based, and then you'll have a report due to us at, about a calendar year, not a calendar year, but a year after you've received the funds. We'll check in and see how it's going. So again, we have some core grantees that we have relationships with, deep relationships over many years, and we keep, those relationships going, but we also do programmatic funding as well. All right, go to the next slide. So here's what the process looks like on our end. We try to keep it as quick and easy as possible, and we try to take as little information as necessary to cut down that burden on you and cut down that burden on us that, we we don't want to take more information than we actually will use. So first of all, if you have not set up an account through Foundant, which you can find on our website, a link to apply. We do everything through Foundant. So if you've not set up that account yet, you're going to want to check in with Lindy. Her email is right here, and she will help you get set up through Foundant. If by chance maybe you're new to your role at your organization and you know your organization has applied before, but you're new to the particular role, Lindy might need to work with you to get your login situated. And Lindy would be happy to help you get set up there. So we do everything through Foundant. We're in the letter of inquiry phase right now. That will open on next Monday on the 30th of June. And we'll go until what, August 1st, I believe. So you have about a month to submit your LOIs. Your LOI means letter of inquiry, and it's a quick and short little pitch about what your program or your project is, how it fits within your mission, how it might fit within ours. And so you give us kind of your best pitch for what you would like to do with some funding. Then I sit down with our committee and go through all of the LOIs, and we invite some applications to give us a little more information about what it is that you're trying to do. We might ask for a little bit more of your organization's information as well. And you'll have a month to complete, this step. And again, it's more detailed than just the LOI, just giving us some more information about what you're trying to do. During the application time, or even, no, it's just shortly after the applications come in, we might ask for a site visit, especially if there's something physical that we can actually come see somewhere in the East Central Illinois area. We might ask for a site visit, which means I might come in person to see you or whatever particular project it is that you have. It might be virtual. So we might ask for a site visit, and it might be just a Zoom call where I and maybe a member or two of the committee sit down with you and just chat about your application. So not every application requires a site visit, but you might get an email from us asking about a site visit. So prep for that. And then we'll have our final decisions after site visits are done. I sit down with the committee, we make our final decisions, and then you would be notified one way or the other through Foundant about the status of your application. So whether it's approved or whether it's not approved. So that's our process. So it starts again, let's see. The LOI opens next week, and this whole process is done by what? Early October? Yeah, the first week of October. So again, LOIs, you have about a month to work on that. Applications, if you're extended an application, you'll have about a month to work on that. We would have site visits, again, the week of like September 15th through 24th, somewhere in there, and Lindy would be in contact with you to set that up, either in person or virtually. And then we would let you know whether you're awarded a grant or not somewhere in the week of October 3rd. And then if you're awarded a grant, the post-grant report that we require and that you'll be able to see through Foundant, you'll be able to see those questions right away, would be due in the fall of next year. So we would do it not from August, but from October, about when you find out you've had an award. You would have until the following October to do a post-grant report. I think that brings us to the questions section. So if you have a question you want answered right now in real time, go ahead and unmute yourself and I'll do my best to answer. If you'd prefer to just send me an email, that's cool too. Christina@lumpkinfoundation.org, and I spell my name with a CH. So happy to answer your questions offline here, or if you'd like to type it in the chat, that's fine too. But if you have any questions, now would be the time. Giving you all a minute to process or get unmuted. Okay, seeing none. I'll flash up my email address again. So Christina@lumpkinfoundation.org. This is my phone line. If you want to call on the phone, you can reach me there. I will be out of office next week. So if you don't hear something from me right away, if it's super important, you could probably check in with Lindy, like if it's super time sensitive. But if it can wait, you can send me an email and I'll get back to you. But I'll be back on the 1st of July. I see in the chat, will these slides be shared? I could probably share them out to the people who have registered, but I wouldn't know how else I would do that. Share to registrants. I'm going to make a note of that. And again, you'll be able to see the whole presentation again on YouTube, so you can kind of sort of see the slides that way as well. But I might be able to share those to the list of people who have registered. I would have to do that probably right away. Jess, I see you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Hi, Christina, thanks. I'm Jess Rudnick, a climate resilience extension specialist with the University of Illinois. I'm curious if you all have expenses that are qualified, certain types of expenses that the grants can cover, or anything that is ineligible for coverage. I saw online some, you don't cover individuals' time, but can you elaborate a little bit more on any qualified or unqualified expense types?
Why don't you just send me an email if you have a specific question about that so that I can see it and make sure that I give you the right answer. So if you have a specific question about that, why don't you just send me an email?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very project dependent, I guess, or
yeah, I would say it's project program specific. Yep.
okay. And then my kind of related question is, do you require a fundee or sort of sub-grantee to be based in the region of focus, the geographic region of focus?
Yes. So if you were regranting funds to someone, we would want them to be within the East Central Illinois area. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right. I see Tanea's question in the chat. Are multi-community based partnerships encouraged? CBO and churches. Tanea, we'd love to see creative partnerships. I'd be curious to see what you have in mind. So if you have any questions, go ahead and you know my email. And we could talk about that a little bit further. Always interested in community partnership. Okay. I don't see any more questions in the chat, and I don't see any other hands raised. So I think that was the end. So wow, 121, not bad. I told you it'd be less than an hour. So if you have any questions, again, Christina@lumpkinfoundation.org is where you can catch me. If I don't respond to you in the next week, I'm just on vacation, but I will catch you when I get back in the office. You'll still have a month to get the LOI in, so it won't put you behind. So thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, go ahead and send me an email or a phone call, although I definitely won't get that until I get back to the office. And thanks for your time, and thanks for all of your really good work in your communities on behalf of the climate and behalf of the health of our communities. We really appreciate it.